Of Aussies living in capital cities and rural populations declining, the fight for country towns to survive is a very real one. But halfway between Adelaide and Melbourne, one small centre is turning the tables.
A decade ago, Nhill was struggling to survive. Its population was falling fast, and like many rural communities, the future looked bleak. That was until an unlikely group of people decided to move in.
Hi Austin, how are ya?
Not too bad, thanks. All the better for seeing you.
Registered nurse May is one of a growing number of Burmese refugees who now call Nhill home.
Where you from? You know, like, I want to say Korean. Korean? No, it's Korean.
The Karen people are a persecuted ethnic minority in Myanmar. About 140,000 of them live in refugee camps along the Thai border.
I was born in refugee camp, so I lived there for the whole 16 years. In the camp, you sort of feel like you have no future. But I was pretty blessed that, I came here at 16.
Australia has resettled more than 7,000 Karen refugees, and more are being lured to Nhill.
We now have about 190 Karens living in Nhill, and that's really underpinned our population and underpinned our economy.
In fact, Karen people now make up almost 10% of Nill's population, and they've given a $41 million boost to the town's economy. Nill's biggest employer, Loverduck, set the ball rolling by inviting Karen people to work in its manufacturing plant.
We started employing Karen in around 2010. At that time, the company was expanding, and we were very grateful to have them come on board.
I was looking for work, and then one of my mates, he got an offer in here, and then so I decided to follow him.
The rest of the community has gotten in on the act too.
Hal's a terrific worker. Only have to ask him once to do something and it's done, and then he's asking, what's next.
I'm going to do service this month.
27-year-old Hal is a third-year apprentice mechanic and says he feels like part of the Nhill community.
We like Nhill, yeah. Be quiet and nice people. Like if you walk on the street, everyone say hi. So yeah, we're happy.
And Nill's longer-term residents are happy too.
It goes two ways. They seem to be happy to be here, and we're very happy to welcome them.
It's been a wonderful boost for the Nhill community. I think that's just added a certain vibrancy to the whole social fabric of the place.
It's been successful on many levels. Firstly, it's really culturally enriched Nhill. The Karens are very generous with sharing their culture.
There are a cheerful lot. There's no doubt about that. They are a great people.
But on top of that, it's really addressing our single biggest economic challenge, which is population decline.
Gives us a sense of security with employment and business, but it also gives them a great lifestyle too.
Every time I made a trip to Nhill, I fell in love with the community and just the nice open space.
Plough moved to Nhill permanently with her husband 2 years ago. As well as working as the council's migration officer, she also teaches Karen to locals both old and young.
It's amazing how quick they pick it up, more so than the adults.
Hello again. Reduced to some basic greetings. I'm learning.
As more Karen people continue to arrive, Tony says other rural towns should take notice of Nill's example.
This is absolutely a model that can be transported around Australia. Adopting a group of migrant people or refugees to make your town their home. It's not easy, it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of goodwill, but it's achievable.
In a few years' time, with the children at school, growing up together, there'll be intermarriages, there'll be everything happening, and totally the good of our community.
Take that model around the country.
Well, it's great, isn't it? It's not a unique story, though. I mean, Shepparton's another example in rural Victoria, same sort of thing, where a successive wave, actually, of migration have basically made the town.
Although in this case, it all happened because they didn't want to have a sign that said, "Welcome to Nhill, population Nhill."
Yeah, that's true.
I think we don't get the examples of the money, though. Like, we often don't get, like, $41 million. We often don't get the dollars associated with the benefit. Obviously, the social benefits are amazing for that community as well. And that Loverduck, I already loved Loverduck, but I love them even more now. Great comfy duck leg, by the way.
Is Loverduck related to Plucker Duck? Just checking. I probably should have asked that off air.
Well, and also it just depends which order you do it. Anyway,
you pluck the duck and then you pluck the duck.
Sorry, my point was...
yes, proceed with your point.
That Loverduck was in real danger of having to relocate. They were struggling, and look what's happened. It's reinvigorated that whole business, that whole town. You've got an extra $41 million being injected into the economy, and you've got, most importantly, a beautiful, happy community.
Yep, they're people and they can make a contribution. We've got to go to a break.